Hey, Artie, do you want to do the intro? Is that too much?
Sure.
Go ahead, man.
Well, this is episode 12?
Episode 12. That
something just fell in my bathroom. This is episode 12 of What Are You Listening To? We are ready for death. We are 3/5 of ready for death. Joining with Mike here on the show. I'm the guy in the front. Shawn is the guy in the back. Luca is the guy with the 4 strings. And we were going to have Dallas join us, our guitarist, but he had a family thing tonight, a family emergency, so Shawn's jumping in for him, which has been totally smooth, no technical problems whatsoever.
Smooth as silk.
Yeah, just like beautiful. And yeah,
peanut butter.
We are going to talk about a couple of records that we've each been listening to over the last weeks, months, days, whatever. Yeah. So anything that might be interesting. And this is my 3rd time being on. So thanks again, Mike, for having me and us.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks, Shawn, for coming on at short notice. Really appreciate it, actually. Thanks a lot.
So these are things I listened to in the last couple hours or days.
You've missed.
I wasn't sure what we were doing.
Yeah, everyone who's watching now has missed all the good bits that happened before.
Yeah, you really
before we went live. Hey, Alejandro's here from Norway. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, so Artie summed it up perfectly. We've each got 5 records. We're going to go around. We're going to have a good time talking about 5 records each. As usual, I didn't specify a genre. I have no idea what anybody's going to show. So I'm looking forward to everyone's picks for today. Everyone always has great picks. It's always great. And
it's been good. Every episode's been good.
Yeah, it's always great. And I'm going to do the clockwise system today, as we've been doing. So I'll go first. Artie, Shawn, Luca. We'll do one each, and then we'll keep going around until we've done our 5. And
sure.
All right. So we'll do a quick cheers before we get into it. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Oh, what's everyone drinking, by the way? I'm drinking a Japanese wheat beer here. Oh,
Shawn's, is that a Lizard King?
Pipeworks Lizard King, Chicago
Excellent.
Brewery.
Wow, nice.
I work there.
I've got the Zombie Dust from Three Floyds Brewing.
Wow.
Traitor. Good.
I'm
Good
drinking
beer.
a delicious classic known as Miller Lite.
Oh.
On tap.
On tap in your own home.
Yes.
Living the dream.
Beautiful.
Living the dream.
I really am, yeah.
All right, let's get down to it. I'm going to go with my first pick. I don't know if anyone watched last week, but because I'm doing this every week, I thought it'd be a good idea to have some kind of like system that I can do every week. So I have this kind of record, that kind of record, that kind of record, and like kind of just fit everything into like one neat like system every week. But kind of didn't really work that well. I'm going to try it again this week. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to start off with what I called the short sharp shock, and you'll see what that is when when you see it. Today's short sharp shock is the Dead Ones, a record that our friend Nate Wilson released 20 years ago. 20 years ago on his on the Gloom Records. It's a Swedish band, hardcore band, but they're not a D-beat band. No metal, just straight ahead, straightforward. Maybe East Coast influenced. Really fast. I always say meat and potatoes when I talk about these kind of bands because I don't really know how to. But it's that kind of thing. No frills, bare bones, straightforward, super fast, super catchy, hardcore. Maybe like Y2K thrash. I think Artie's probably old enough to remember that.
I do remember the great thrash pandemic of the early 2000s.
Yeah, lots of
yeah. They if I remember correctly though, they all their lyrics are in Norwegian, right? They're not in English.
Oh, I didn't actually pick up on that. Oh, there's the song title, so anyone couldn't decipher that language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a Norwegian English mix, but yeah, they didn't. I like that record because they didn't fit in exactly with a lot of the bands of that era that were climbing up the same tree.
Exactly. And the vocalist has like a high pitched voice, which I don't normally like, but it kind of works in this band. And
right. I guess probably a Charles Bronson influence there.
There you go. Yeah. Charles Bronson, Chicago band, right?
Yep.
Chicago band, yeah. Another Nate Wilson affiliated band, yeah.
Yeah, this is great. Really catchy, So over in like 15, 20 minutes, they do a cover of the Witch by the Sonics at the end of the record.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is kind of unexpected and kind of weird for the time, unusual for the time, I would say, to do that kind of thing.
Did somebody from that band go on to be in like a band that was a little bit bigger? I know one person was probably in the Vicious, because I think everyone in Scandinavia was in the Vicious at some point.
I actually did do a tiny bit of research about this record. When I looked it up on Discogs, a couple of the guys maybe went on to be in like, actually one guy, Robert, went on to be in Regulations and Mass Hysteria.
Mass Hysteria.
Oh, Mass Hysteria.
But now he's a huge like pop rock star in Sweden under the name Perula. He's huge.
Oh, crazy.
He's had like awards and stuff, and like he's really, really like big in Sweden, like a big pop star. But he's from this band.
You know who it is, Luca?
What? I know the Vicious. I know Mass Hysteria. A band
I thought you knew this.
I don't know the pop star. No, a band I played in like 13 years ago. We played at this venue that in Chicago that no longer exists. It's now a fancy place called Lonesome Rose. It used to be like this hole in the wall rock venue called Ronnie's, and my old band played there with the Vicious in front of like maybe 30 people.
Wow!
Oh my god! So
one of the best bathrooms in Chicago.
Oh god, yeah.
At Ronnie's.
There was also, I'm pretty sure Ronnie's above the bar had a blood stain on the ceiling. So that's a thing that haunts me to this day. But yeah, it was crazy playing with a band like as, prolific as the Vicious in this tiny shithole. It kind of sticks with me. They were so good, and we were okay. But, it was a good
I'm trying to remember if Ronnie's. I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole, but was that place that's like it's like in California, Milwaukee, that nexus, like it's near there, and it looks like an old garage or something.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's that fancy taco place across the street from Benai's house now.
Dan lives across the street.
Yeah, you can eat like a $8 taco on the roof of that place now, and drink a $12 margarita.
Watch Dan play with his dog.
yeah. So
yes, the people do.
Dogs are great. To bring it all around, the record you picked, it's the same crew of dudes as Vicious, Mass Hysteria, etc.
Yeah, it's the Robert Peterson is the guitar player from Regulations, Mass Hysteria, that band, and now he's a big pop star in Sweden. So there you go.
That's a wild trajectory. I like that.
Yeah. So that's my first pick, the Short Sharp Shock. It's my first pick of the day. All right, Artie, what's your first pick today, man?
Oh, this came out this week. And I actually got it today.
Wow.
I had other records picked out, and I was like, I listened to it 3 times in a row. So I was like, I got to bring this on. This is on Translation Lost Records, the same label as us. It's called Reburied. It's kind of sounds like what you'd think based on the cover. It's like primal kind of meat and potatoes, as you say, death metal. It sounds like a bunch of old bands. Like it sounds like old Incantation, Autopsy, a little bit of Bolt Thrower, and then more Chewis, like modern current death metal bands too. Like it's like a mix of those. It's almost like it's got like more urgency than the older bands. But it's I don't know anything about any of the other members of this band. I think they were in some other like marginal. They're from either Portland or Seattle, one of the two. And they don't. When I got the record after I listened to it the third time, I added it to my Discogs collection, and then I clicked on the band members, and I didn't know anything about any of them. I do know that like this singer is insane. He's got a real it's real blunt instrument death metal. Like it's just really pummeling. Like if it were a war weapon, it would be like a club with like a nail through it. But its singer is a big part of that, and they just replaced him after the record was recorded. So this came out, and they already have a new singer. I have no idea. I assume it's still going to be good, but it's a shame because this is a pretty devastating record in itself. And like I said, I mean, just that, and then the song titles are like, you can't read them, but like Sepulchral Stench, which is actually one of the better songs on the record. Rancid Womb. So it's good holiday music. But I think this is definitely my short shock of this.
Yeah.
What's the name of the band again?
And it's it literally just shipped to my house this afternoon. So
What's the name of the band again?
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
No, Reburied. Reburied. Yeah, and the album is Repulsive Nature, and it just came out on Translation Loss, which and it's a little bit of a self promotion because they're on our label, but I wouldn't talk about it and our label, as I've said before, I don't dig everything they put out, but this is toward the top name of the crop.
Nice. I was going to show a death metal record today, but I'm not. So that's nice. You put that in there.
Oh,
yeah, a new death metal record. I'm going to leave it for next week, I think. But,
oh, excellent.
Yeah. Nice.
I want to know.
Rebirth.
Rebirth. Yeah. There's like a whole. I mean, there's a lot of good death metal out across the country right now, but the Northwest seems like it's really like spitting up a bunch of that band Vitriol is from either Portland or Seattle. I assume they're the same city because I can't tell them apart. What else? I think like Of Feather and Bone. I think they might be from up there. There's definitely others, but anyway, I think the Northwestern U.S. has kind of got a really good burgeoning death metal scene.
It always in the places you least expect it. Like Denver was a place for it for a while. It started in Tampa. So
that's as random as it gets. Yeah,
the beautiful Pacific Northwest is the next place, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, the Pacific Northwest. Is it my turn?
Yeah, I guess so.
Shawn, it's your turn.
Let's see how this goes. Yeah, Shawn's turn.
Oh,
I have Green River.
Green River.
All right.
From Seattle.
Wow, more Northwestern stuff.
Way back in the day, when I was a little nerd, just driving around in my car in the middle of nowhere, me and my friends just got drunk and listened to this album, and it just fucking rocks. And I love it.
Is that on like Sub Pop or something?
Yeah.
Is that from that era?
Yes, it's Sub Pop, but we had it on CD back then, of course, and then it was reissued on some sort of vinyl, double.
Wow.
Pretty nice.
Okay.
If you know anything about them, it's the dudes from Mudhoney and Pearl Jam before they were those guys, and it's just a good fucking rock record. Before Nirvana, it was just like good punk rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never listened to that. I'm very interested though, just per that description.
Yeah. No, I really love Mudhoney, and this is like Mark Arm, the singer from Mudhoney.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's just I love his vocals. He's a crazy dude. The music is fine, but I don't know. It's always stuck with me because being a teenager in the middle of nowhere, getting drunk and listening to this kicks ass.
Yeah.
Did they have you seen? What got you into that record particularly?
I just stumbled upon it. We had like 2 record stores in the shitty town I was from, and they had a Green River record and a CD, but I bought it and it just stuck with me. I loved it.
Wow. Okay.
And I sort of like started buying other things from the bands, and I'm like, oh, you're Pearl Jam and you're. But this one sticks.
Right.
That is a great pick because it reminds me that I should listen to that record. I haven't listened to it for a long, long time, and
it fucking rocks, right?
It's great, and it also reminds me that I should listen to my Tad records more.
Oh yeah,
because I love Tad, and it's kind of in the same ballpark, like drunken grunge. Is that a thing? It is now.
Like Tad and like Mudhoney.
Yeah. Before grunge was even like invented by whoever invented that term.
Not the obvious.
Yeah.
No.
At a recent Ready for Death practice, Shawn was playing God's Balls by Tad. I'm like, what is this? This rules. He's like, it's God's Balls. It's so good. I've been listening to it nonstop, like driving to work, like listening to God's Balls. Like, on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Tad is the best. Tad.
Yeah.
Does Fuzzballs have Behemoth on it? That song Behemoth?
Opening
Yeah.
track, yeah.
I love that fucking song. We should cover that song.
All right.
It's just
You heard it
big
here
music, and it'll take you down. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
great
into
pick.
it.
That's a great pick.
It's a good book.
Nice. All right, Luca, what's your first pick tonight, man?
Vibe shift, as they say. My first pick is Optical Race by Tangerine Dream.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Tangerine Dream, like known for oscillating synthesizers and like ambient drone stuff. But this is an 88 record made entirely on an Atari computer.
Wow.
So I feel like it's almost like the basis for like 90s video game music, which is not really my thing. But as a fan of Tangerine Dream's like 70s stuff, hearing this, it's like you can hear like the complexities and the beauty in it, done it in like what kind of sounds like an Atari or a Nintendo soundscape. It's really fucking cool, really strange, and super fun. It's like the songs are epic as Tangerine Dream's songs usually are, but in less of like a prog rock, like cascading the summit thing, is in more of like a boss fight thing. It's super weird, and I love it. It's also like an hour-long single LP, which is cool too.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never wanted to hear Tangerine Dream before, but you made me want to hear that record now.
Their earlier shit is like what I'm more. It's like sort of like oscillating analog synths, and like it's really pretty and interesting and like kind of hypnotic. But this like enters this whole new. It's incredibly dated. Like it's from '88. It sounds like it's from '88. It sounds like a synthy. Like the samples are all like Fairlight synthesizer fucking patches. It's super goofy, but it's really epic and really pretty. It's a cool thing,
That's awesome.
Wow. I'm a huge Tangerine Dream fan, and I've got all the records from the 70s, and I can't go into the 80s and the soundtracks like the Thief soundtrack and a few other soundtracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I started buying a few records after that, and the quality really kind of drops off at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never heard that one, but I'm going to track that one down.
It's really cool. I mean, the band has done like, they have like 40 records out, and they've done everything from like droney records to like full band like prog records. They kind of touch on everything, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this record is really cool. And I think a thing for me that like this might be nostalgia speaking. I'm not a nostalgic person, but it sounds to me like the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack from Super Nintendo from like '94, and it came out like 6 years before. And I can't help but think like there must have been some sort of like influence on that. Like there's like the water world in Donkey Kong Country is like sticks in everyone's mind if you played as a kid, and these songs sound like that. It has that like dreamy, like hypnotic quality. It's a really cool step for this band.
I'm so excited about this record. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, check it out. It's awesome. It's actually not on streaming services either, but
okay.
it's on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. My next pick kind of ties in with that, like a little bit. So my next kind of category that I invented for myself is like something new that just came in like this week, or this one I got last night, literally like 8 p.m. last night. And I went and listened to it actually once, but I played a lot of the singles off it on YouTube, and I love all the singles, and I love the earlier records from this band, I guess. Riki.
Okay.
Riki and her second album Gold. Like her first album was on that label Symphony of Destruction from France, which puts out like all the post-punk and hardcore stuff.
Yeah. What do I have? Anyway,
they put out Bombardment, and Rigorous Institution was on Symphony of Destruction. But they were on that label, but they kind of changed their sound pretty quickly. This is like total 100% 80s synth pop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like huge, like luscious production, these like synthesizers, fretless bass, sequencers, like digital effects with her like beautiful voice over the top of everything. Super catchy.
Synth pop, like a dark synth pop, like
yes,
okay.
That's exactly.
I didn't know if you meant like Erasure or you know.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like synth pop, but it has that dark, eerie, like edge to it. It's fantastic. I've only played the whole record once, but I love it just from that one listen. But yeah, I mean, she comes from like the anarcho punk scene in the California, in the Bay Area and stuff.
It's not surprising.
In that band called Crimson Scarlet. She didn't sing in that band, but now they're doing what she's doing. This like dark synth pop, and it's absolutely incredible.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think you'd like it, Luca.
Yeah.
I'm not taking notes this time, so I'm gonna have to go after you post the who picked what, and that I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah, I mean it's like dark synth pop is basically what it is.
You said Depeche Mode, which I just ordered Violator. I haven't listened to it.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best.
I would have put that in, but I haven't listened to it yet.
It's fantastic. Okay. That's one of the best ones.
Nobody's gonna fact check your picks, so.
Yeah. Oh, before we move on, I want to say hi to a couple of people who are in the chat.
Sure.
Clifford's here. Patrick Wilding's here. How you doing, guys? Thanks for tuning in. I know it's Friday night. You should be doing something sensible with your lives, but you're sat at home watching us talk about records. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So Artie, second pick of the day. What you got?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, kind of funny. Hold on. This ties into some other stuff we were talking about.
Cool.
The Accused. I've been buying a bunch of records lately, and this I got when it came out in like '90 or whatever. It was probably one of the first things I ever bought with my own money. But the records I've been buying lately have been kind of like hit and miss. So I was like, just today or yesterday, I was like, I need comfort food. I need to listen to just something that I know I'm gonna like, and I always fall back to this. And this is not the Accused like most revered record by any means. You know, it's kind of a mid-period Accused record. But the guy who played drums on this, I think, went on to play in Tad, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Or he played in Tad, I don't know, or around the same time. And I don't know what the order was. And then they're also from Seattle. So, you know, it was sort of accidentally on theme. But yeah, this record was... I don't know. It came out, and it was after, I think, you know, one of the Martha Splatterhead records. I forgot which one. And it's great. It starts off great. Starts off with Pounding Nails into the Lid of Your Coffin, which is a great song, you know, and just continues this fast thrash, punk thrash thing. And then out of nowhere,
there's a rap song on there, isn't there?
There's a rap song. Because it's 1990. And there's slap funk bass, and a guy comes on who's not the singer and starts rapping. And this came out. I was 16, I think, when this came out, and so I thought that was cool. I was like, "This is great! They got a rap song," and he's singing about like homeless vets or something. And he's got this whole. So it's like political, and then it's back to just, you know, Lane Cook screaming about, like, you know, mutilating bodies or whatever. So but I thought that was great. Now looking back, it's very silly and very cringy, but I listened to it yesterday and today, and I was like,
you into it?
Oh, fun song, you know. It's nice. Not, I don't feel it. I don't have any guilty pleasure. I don't have any shame anymore. You know, 40, maybe 49 this year. So it's but on it, even if you skip past that song, this is a fucking like there's no, I don't, you know, this record, for some reason, it didn't come out on Combat. I don't know the deal, but it came out on Nasty Mix, which was just putting out rap and dance records.
That's right. Yes.
I don't know what the backstory is there, or what, you know. I don't know if there's like lore that I'm not privy to, but it's this could have come out on Metal Blade, and it would have been, you know, massive. But it just totally like got swept under the rug. But as a kid in Long Island, when I just looked at the cover, and this was the first Accused record I ever saw, and I was like, I gotta own that. I gotta have it right now. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite records. I love all the older Accused stuff too. Some of this stuff post reunion is good. Production on that stuff is kind of weird and lacking, surprisingly. But this is just like weirdly like one of my favorite records. So, you know, if you've never heard The Accused and you're 16,
Man, I'm feeling sad now because I sold my copy of that record about 5 years ago. Now I'm like feeling some pangs of regret.
There's so many good songs on it. It's like if you could take out you could re-release it without the rap song and people and call it something else. The kids would eat it up.
Great. Artie just made it like $500 for a record.
There you go. I'm not going to be able to get my copy back now because it's the
People will be trying to buy your copy, Artie.
No way.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So yeah, your turn, Shawn.
Just gotta say,
my dog is back.
Seamus.
What's his pick for the day?
Nah, I'm gonna go with this one. No, I'm gonna go with this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Iggy Pop's new album.
Oh,
Interesting.
This is things I've been listening to this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. This kicks ass. It starts off with "I got a dick and two balls."
Words to live by.
That's the first fucking lyrics in the first song is called Frenzy. I got a dick and two balls. And it just fucking rips the entire way through. And
Nice.
then it's got Duff from Guns N' Roses playing bass. Some dude I've never heard of playing guitar. And Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers on drum.
Incredible drummer.
Yeah. And he's not all, it rocks. It just fucking rocks.
What's the name of it?
Every Loser.
Every Loser. Okay.
It's Iggy Pop, Every Loser.
right.
It just came out like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know. It's been on repeat on my record player. I love it. It's got some classic Iggy punk rock shit, and then it's got some like the weirder Iggy Pop stuff. But it's all angry about the world.
Does it touch on my favorite Iggy shit is like when it's like creepy. Does he touch on the creepy stuff? Like I think of the Idiot.
The super dark either. Yes. It's all in there, and it's pretty good. There's even a song with the Jane's Addiction bass player.
Okay.
Which one is his? Which guy is that?
Eric Avery.
Yeah, but you can tell it's that dude playing the bass when you. So I don't know, man. I've been listening to this over and over. It's pretty good. I got tickets to see him. They're coming to this. I'm not going to advertise, but
Anyway,
it's been fun.
I've
been digging this record.
Yeah.
Like Iggy's never fucked up. Like he's always been Iggy, and it's always good.
Yeah, even his mediocre, sort of overlooked stuff is still miles ahead of like 90% of other musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I have,
especially like from that era, like some of those dudes like have gone on to done terrible things, and Iggy hasn't.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's bad at something.
It's the band motto.
I think people talking about that record and saying, yeah, this is like his best record in like however many years. It's a really great record.
It's really like I don't know, man. It just feels good to me.
You've been digging it, yeah.
I listen to it in the shower, and I listen to it when I'm drunk going to bed on the couch.
Like, age-wise, I think, me and Shawn are about the same age. Mike, you're a couple of years older. Luca's the kid. He's 38, I think. So Iggy Pop, like, so much older than all of us, and he's still like performing. I don't his way
just
today.
Going for it. See, I love the ferocious.
Yeah.
He goes, and it's so cool. You can feel it in the record that he still has a dick and two balls.
That's good. It's good to have both of those things.
And I don't know. I've just been really loving that record.
It's worked out for me.
There's also songs that sound like Depeche Mode on it too, which are cool.
Oh wow.
Oh cool.
Oh weird.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but it mostly rocks.
All right.
Okay.
I'm interested in hearing it because I know that the person who produced that record has worked with like Miley Cyrus and like pop stars. So the fact that he can still be like Iggy with that
Is it
production,
the guitar player guy?
it's some young dude who produced it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
he's
looked
got,
him
like,
up. I don't know who he is, but he's got like a studio. He plays guitar on every song.
He's got
Write
like
every song.
like a radio pop pedigree, and he's able
Yeah.
to like work with Iggy Pop. Like, and both of them are happy with it, so it must be great, you know.
And he sounds really good on the record too.
Mhm.
Whoever this dude is doing a good job.
All right.
Well, he's
Luke,
not
what's-
working with Miley. All right. Okay, so my next choice is, this is not a new record for me, but it's a record I've recently rediscovered and kind of have been re-examining in like a deeper way than I examine most records. It's Isn't Anything by My Bloody Valentine. You know, if you love My Bloody Valentine, or if you hate My Bloody Valentine, I would recommend revisiting Isn't Anything. It's a different beast than Loveless. You know, all people who love My Bloody Valentine love Loveless. It's the greatest record of all time.
That's the only one I know.
Dude, Isn't Anything is crazy. It's like proto grunge. It's post punk. It's noise rock. It's half the songs sound like Dino Jr. or Pavement. It's like hearing. It's like a different band. It's the exact all the same people who made Loveless, but doing something way more punk, way more interesting, way more loose and young. Like, they sound like they're still a band. It sounds like a band you can walk into the Empty Bottle and watch play. Which when you put on Loveless, it sounds like something made in outer space. You listen to Anything, it sounds like a real band. And I've been listening to it nonstop, and like I'll drive to practice and listen to it, and I'll go back and re-listen to songs. It's so cool and so dark and pretty and grimy and punk. I love it. It's growing up, my whole thing was like, I don't really care about this record because we all know Loveless rules. And now as an adult, re-listening to this, I'm like, I don't want to say it's better than Loveless, but it's a completely different beast and worth examining on its own. It's so fucking cool. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm one of those weird people that prefers that to Loveless because it's more song based, you know.
Yeah, totally. It's you know, Loveless is like it's like a tone. The whole record is one sound, and you fall into it, and it's beautiful and great. But this is like a punk record, which is really, really cool. The drumming's really bad and sloppy, and like it's reckless and you know, shambolic, and then like it's also got this like weird slacker thing that, like, you know, that predates Pavement, that predates Dino Jr. And it's kind of like you're listening to a band invent a genre and create other genres while they invent that genre. It's really interesting to listen to it in 2023, knowing what the band had created, you know, in 91, and this was like 89. So
which record is it? What's it called again?
It's called Isn't Anything. It's their first full length. They only have 3 full lengths. This, then Loveless, then MBV, which came out in like 2013 or something.
Okay.
So
I only knew
their
Loveless.
first one. Yeah, I think you dig it. It's like it's super weird and like, you know, kind of grungy and sad and dark. It rules. It's super cool.
I got the 2 CD discs, all the singles. There's some great stuff on that too. Like,
oh yeah, Glider and Tremolo are like, you know, earth shattering. It's crazy
and
stuff.
You Made Me Realize. It's like that's such a good like pop, not pop song, but really good.
Yeah, it's the you know, there's some bands out there that have like a mythology built around them, and I feel like MBV is one that like kind of has earned it, and it's worth it. You know. Absolutely. Yeah,
that's a great pick. I'm glad to see that one get a little bit of love because it's always about Loveless, isn't it? Like all the time.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that.
Yeah.
I thought that was their only album.
I think a lot of people think that.
There's more than Loveless.
Yeah, man. I think
I'll check that shit out, man. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's like Loveless if it was by a punk band. It's cool.
Yeah, great record. All right. So my next pick is kind of supposed to be like the metal record of the week, and I think I can do it.
Okay.
I think I can do it. This is an intro. I don't. If anyone's heard of this record, either on the panel or in the comments, I'll be really happy. It's a bit obscure, maybe, but you know, like Relapse have just reissued the Gizm album, MAN, the second Gizm album. So everyone's talking about that, right? How does it compare to the original? Is it a good album? Does it like stand up? Does it stand the test of time? And really, it's like punks playing heavy metal in like 1987. You know, whenever that came out. So I got to thinking, okay, I know that record like back to front, Gizm, MAN. Like, do I have a record like that's like played by actual heavy metal dudes that kind of sounds like Gizm? And I remembered that I do have one, and I love this record. It's also Japanese, and it came out in like 1988. Check this out. It's a picture disc. It's crazy. It's this thing. This band called yeah, this band called Z-Sect. They're 12-inch EP. They were from Osaka, where I'm sitting right now. N.O.V. It's a 4-track picture disc.
What the fuck?
It's crazy, right? But honestly, okay, so the singer is like a heavy metal singer. He's got the falsetto. He's like your typical like Japanese like heavy metal vocalist. And occasionally he does that kind of raspy thing that like Japanese singers do. But the music, it is exactly like Gizm. You can't tell it apart. It's weird. It's fuzzed out. Some of it's really thrashy and fast. And so I'm really thinking they were kind of going for a Gizm kind of thing with this record, but they are just complete heavy metal dudes trying to do like Gizm. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's a little bit obscure. People into Japanese heavy metal will kind of probably know this record, but yeah. Z-Sect, 1988, early 1988. It sounds like metal punk, but with a heavy metal singer.
Yeah.
And the guitar tone they have on this record sounds exactly like Randy Uchida on like Detestation. It's insane.
Wow.
And even the solos are similar and everything. And yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy record. So yeah.
That's probably going to be a hard one to track down.
There is a Z-Sect. You can probably listen to it on YouTube. Probably. There's a few copies on Discogs right now, but because it came out in Osaka, so I kind of see this around, you know, in the record stores, you know. But yeah, crazy record.
It's great.
That's cool.
Ridiculous.
That artwork is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to hear Gizm but with a heavy metal singer, check out Z-Sect from Osaka in 1988.
Nice.
That actually is something I would like to hear.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I know it's a little bit obscure, but I was listening to that this week because of all the Gizm talk, you know. Kind of led me to that record. Yeah.
I hope Shawn's okay.
Me too.
Sorry,
Let's carry on. The show must go on. So. Artie, what's your third pick?
Sure. Hold on. Let me before I drop everything. So I mentioned that I've been buying a bunch of records lately, and striking out here and there. Hell's Headbangers had a sale where there was like 5 LPs for $25, which comes out to $15 an LP. So I was like, I had just paid off a credit card, so I thought, why not add more money to the credit card I just paid off? So I bought 5 records, only one that I knew what I was getting, and the other 4 I just kind of picked based on the description. So see if you can go with the theme here, which was totally by accident, but this is a band called Hammer.
Wow.
This was okay. This is not my pick.
Okay.
But it was it's like, okay, that's fine. Then I got Hammer from Finland. It's like, okay, it's really set the world on fire. It was like, you know, good enough for what it was. And then I finally found Deathhammer.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I seen the Deathhammer name, you know, everywhere, and I was like, I don't know anything about this band, but you know, I feel like I could study as if I were trying to get a master's degree, and I'd still never know every metal band that's like out there. But this band, so I was like, all right, yeah, that sounds familiar, and I love the description, so I just ordered it, $15. Comes on like, you know, the magical novelty, you know, Hooray,
Watermelon.
Watermelon. And this is just like it sounds like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know, and the cover looks like something my 7-year-old son would draw, and I love it. Like, I don't love it ironically. I just think it seems like it's just so they're so earnest about this. It sounds like, you know, Haunting the Chapel, like not as good as Haunting the Chapel, like a beaten up, you know, sadist or something like that. Just like, yeah, they love post for photos. This comes with like a little booklet of their lyrics, which is all like handwritten and hand painted / smeared, you know. So you get, and they have like, see, they take a lot of pictures of themselves. But it's like
rapid violence,
which is the preferred track. Actually, it's the best song on here. All the songs are about like what you'd think they'd be about. You know, they're Satan's helping them out. They're doing a lot of work. Satan's a big part of it. They've got a lot of weaponry, and it's they're not happy about many things. So, but it's just like it's totally like a speed black and thrash metal attack. And I know they have, this is probably like, I only know this from like looking them up in a cursory way, but I guess they have like 5 or 6 albums out before this. They've been around since the mid 2000s, and they're from Norway. And it's just like a vicious, like a bladed assault of a band. So if Reburied is like a blunt instrument, this band is like, you know, like a sword or a chainsaw or something. They're just, and they do that vocal thing where it's like these yelps. And you read the lyrics, I'm reading the lyrics along with the song, and I'm like, why did he choose to yelp these words but not these words? It seems very sudden, like uneven, and but it's like, it's a total, you know, just sensory assault listening to this and looking at it. And you can't, it's not a record you can put on in the background and just go about your business. It's like, it commands your attention for every ridiculous thing that's happening. So yeah, Deathhammer, and the album is called Electric Warfare.
Yeah.
And I guess Hell's Headbangers put it out like right before the pandemic or something. So
that whole Hell's Headbangers genre can be really hit or miss, but that's definitely one of the hits, I would say.
Yeah,
Deathhammer for sure.
Yeah, that you know, out of the 5 records I bought, 3 were kind of like, I don't know, this might not survive the next purge, but this one will stick around.
Yeah, I'm feeling that a lot. I've done that a lot with Hell's Headbangers and bought.
Yeah, it's a good label. They do good work. They have, their packaging's nice. Their product's nice. They ship quick, no issues. But like, yeah, I don't know how they. It's like, I'm not gonna make any shitty comments, but you know.
$15. Yeah, $15 is pretty sweet.
You know, for a record these days where it's like $30 for
not
even in a pocket sleeve, $15. I was like, can't lose. But if I really hate it that much, I can flip it on Discogs for the same price I paid for it. So
I'm gonna order one now.
Okay,
I'm in.
All right,
so
we'll wait.
All right, that's nice. All right, we'll wait.
I'm just gonna go with Artie's last record because it sounded cool.
Okay.
I have Chat Pile.
Yes.
I didn't know this band until I joined this band.
Right.
I don't know. I think Luca introduced this to us.
That's a me pick for sure.
And I don't know if you know this band or not, but you should check it out. It's just the heaviness of life, just like fucking you and hitting you over the head. And the music is the same thing, like fighting back. And the drums, the bass patterns, the lyrics, it's people fighting against how fucked up the world is. And I fucking love it. There's a song on here called Why. Why are people living outside? It's just fucking incredible.
It's an incredibly bleak record. Like
as a drummer though, as a drummer, I really appreciate the drum patterns that this guy does, and I don't know, man. It's just been on repeat for weeks. I love this record.
Yeah, it's a new one to me. And all you guys are familiar with this record, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been playing it a lot.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It's bleak. It makes you feel real bad. With good reason.
It kind of sounds like most of the vocals are recorded when he was wandering around his house wasted.
Yes, it does.
Just like
that's how he wrote the lyrics too.
It feels like I've done that before, wandering around my house wasted. Going, I don't know. I don't want to be here. I don't know about now endless whatever. And it's like
that sounds familiar.
Yes, check this out, and you're going to go, holy shit! I've done that before. I really connect with this, and I love this album.
I think Chat Pile is like really important politically too. Like they're speaking at a platform that a lot of people aren't like you mentioned the song Why, like they're speaking for the homeless, and people don't do that, and the way they do it is so powerful and so important. It's great.
Living in Chicago, if you're driving northbound on the highway and you drive in and you see our beautiful fucking city with all the goddamn lights on, why?
Yeah.
People living outside.
You're driving on
why are all the lights on?
On the sides of the highway are literally like camps of people.
Wow.
Help people turn some lights off.
Yeah, it's a powerful record. It's gnarly. It's great. The band sounds super good. It's awesome.
It's very new to me, but like the past year, I've been listening to these guys.
Yeah,
and it's powerful.
Let's get the name of the band one more time for everyone watching.
Chat Pile.
All right, got it. That's the new one
great.
to me. So thanks for the recommendation. I'm going to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, it's super.
It's
good.
gnarly.
Nice.
It is.
Like it's kind of uncomfortable gnarly.
I'm down with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. All right, Luca, what's your next pick?
My next pick, once again, a vibe shift.
Nice.
This is Ariel M from 1997. This is David Pajo from Slint's first solo record. I have listened to it so much this year. It's super cool. It's if you guys are Slint fans, it's like spooky noise rock like Slint, but more refined. And the thing that blows my mind with it, it's like a full band configuration, but he does everything himself. And as someone who's made records in that way, like everything myself, to hear something so intricate and complex done by one person melts my brain. It's like instrumental, pretty, dark, noisy, like indie rock made by one dude. Oh my god.
Jeez.
Everyone's okay.
I'm getting a phone call. Fuck up. I don't know who it is.
I think it was the cry of pain that was the funniest.
It's just a really cool addition to like the Slint discography, everything that they've done, whether it's Slint.
Would you call it a Slintography?
I would call it the Slintography. Yeah. So yeah, what everything those dudes have done from like
God damn it.
Oh my god.
This is great. This is like a live Ready for Death show.
Anyone still watching?
It's usually me. It's knocking something over and crying out in pain.
You all right there?
All right.
Anyway.
So
really cool, pretty weird, dark songs made by one dude. And like Pajo's got, after Slint has gone on to do tons of crazy shit. Like he plays in Gang of Four now, and
oh wow,
he was in Interpol for a while, and he was in Zwan. Remember Zwan? He was like
Billy Corgan's band, right?
Yeah, he was like he was like the indie rock cred in Zwan, and like he's done so many bands, but like in between Slint and all that shit, he released this, and it's a really weird, cool record. It's for an instrumental soloist record, it like has so many weird little intricacies that like grab you. It's great. I listen to it all the time around the house. It's cool.
Nice.
Maybe it's just me. I try to talk about my love of Slint at band practice, and like no one else.
Really like Slint.
Yeah. I think I'm wearing like a Slint hoodie.
Yeah.
So,
Is it gonna be because of your Slint shirt?
yeah. So, but
like I think you're being paid by Big Slint.
Yeah, yeah. Those men with so much money. Yeah. But this is a really cool addition to that vast discography. Pajo's released like 100 records, and like, but this is his first full length. It's really cool from '97. So it's old, but it's great. I love it.
Nice.
I've been playing it nonstop around the house. So.
Cool. That's a new one to me.
Yeah,
nice.
I like Slint.
Yeah,
they're good.
Pajo's recorded under many names, but this is Ariel M, and this is the first one as Ariel M. So anyone looking into it, it's cool. It's great.
Nice. All right, my turn, right? So my fourth pick is usually kind of like some like prog rock record, or like free jazz record, or like something that's like not punk or hardcore. But wasn't listening to any of that this week. We haven't had a band from Iceland on the show yet. There's a band from Iceland that I really like that I listen to on the regular, and it's this band.
Sigur Rós. Kidding.
No, kind of close. Kælan Mikla.
Okay.
From Iceland. Trio, 3 women from Iceland.
Okay.
This is like originally only came out on cassette tape in Iceland, but it quickly got put out on vinyl by Artifacts, which is like a Canadian label, I think. But this is like the darkest, like most primitive goth, post-punk, synth-punk, cold wave, whatever you want to call it, that you could like come across. It's amazing.
And it's current?
It's current, yeah.
Okay.
This came out, this is like this recorded stuff from 2013 to 2014. This is like their most raw stuff. They've had like 3 full-length albums after this. And they got more and more refined. They added like more and more like synths and like more song-based, and they kind of got rid of the bass a little bit. This is just like very simple bass, drums, synthesizer, vocals. It's icy cold. It kind of goes back to the old like UK post-punk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Almost like anarcho-punk almost.
Oh,
it's
really?
Incredible. Like, yeah, I love this band so much. But you know, like Robert Smith heard them. Yeah. And he invited them to play like the Cure's like 40th anniversary gig in London. He was such a big fan. They're that good. So yeah, they kind of got some traction with doing that. And they've been to the States a few times. And there's these screams in there too, like these like blood curdling screams that pop out every now and again. I guess it's like kind of like X-Mal, really early X-Mal Deutschland. That kind of thing. This record, then they kind of got more and more refined. I think like most bands in this genre kind of get more and more refined as they kind of go along, more polished, but this is very raw, bass, drums, you know, guitar, vocals.
That's totally up my alley. I really would love to check that out.
They're a fantastic band. And one of the members did like a little solo tour of Japan, and I put her on in my little event I used to do. She played to like 20 people in this tiny little room. She's got 2 solo records out. Solveig Matilda is one of the members of the band. And then 2 years later, they were playing like in front of 50,000 people with the Cure. So not because of me. I just was that.
You can take it. Yeah, totally fair.
Yeah. But Kælan Mikla is the name of the band. All their records are great, but this is like the rawest, most primitive of all their records.
I won't even try to write it down. I'll just look for the transcript.
Yeah. Mánadans is the name of the record. But
wow,
great stuff. Great band.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah,
I think you'll like them. Yeah. Start anywhere. I always like to start at the beginning of a band if I'm new to them. But the later stuff is, as I said, way more produced and quieter, actually. But
no, I like that raw, like late mid 80s kind of like anarcho-punks finding out about synthesizers kind of thing.
Yes. It's kind of like that now. But current.
February and blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
This came out a couple of weeks ago. It's a reissue. Not a deep dive at all, but maybe a vibe shift. This is
Killing Joke.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering if you would recommend. Yes. So, the artwork. This is insane artwork. So, I but I discovered Killing Joke like when Metallica covered The Weight.
Right.
So it was like around then, and I went back and got their original records, and then I was like, okay, I know about Killing Joke, and then I moved on and forgot about them, and then I didn't realize until the early 2000s, 2010 or so, that they had put out some records again. They were like putting out and that comeback album with I don't know if it's a comeback album, but the Dave Grohl drum album.
That's a classic.
Is amazing. Which is just for a band that had been through what they had been through and then retired and then come back with this Dave Grohl's competent, obviously very good drummer, but just you hear his name and you're like, okay, next, and he put out that that record is just like amazing. But then this was the record after that, which I guess it must have come out on vinyl then, but Revolver had like a exclusive version, and it's like a double LP or whatever, and it's really, really good. I was already familiar with this album for a few years. In fact, when I don't know, I'm really drunk now, so I'm gonna go off on tangents, and you can just reel me in.
Off you go, lad. Off you go.
I had early on in my Apple Music foray. This was one of the albums that I had purchased through Apple Music, and it was on my phone. And my kid, my oldest son, when he was like 2 years old, figured out how to use my phone and play music, and he would always play this album over and over. So I'd hear it, and I'd be like, "Oh no, he has my phone!" And I'd run in. So that's what this kind of brings to mind for me. So, but revisiting it over the last few weeks, it's like, man, every song on this, there's no bad songs, and Chaz Coleman is or Jazz Coleman, he's fucking like, his voice just, it seems to get more distorted and amazing as he gets older. Like it just carves up the ground and comes out of nowhere, and it's and he'll take, like, the song will it'll start to like meander, and you're like, I don't know, all right, maybe I'll skip, and then he comes in with like a weird, like from another direction, and it brings you back into the fold. Some of the lyrics, he's a great lyricist. Some of the lyrics here are a little too like he's got a song about, I think it's like the first song. Yeah, it's the second song on the record. The record's called Hosannas from the Basements of Hell.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the song on the second name of the second song on the record. And it's literally a song about how he wants to murder everyone, and Killing Joke rehearsing is the only thing that gives him peace, and that's how he's not murdering everyone. But it's literally like the first line in the song is, "I harbor thoughts of killing you." Something, pour petrol on you and then on me. Like, it's like really dark, and then it's like, but I gotta go to practice and everything's cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's a little corny in that respect, but overall, it's like a bombastic record.
Yeah.
Band of Valor has no right to put out. They should be like, comfortably doing something like writing, opinion columns from Mojo or something like that. But instead, they're just like they're belting this shit out. And even their last record, that Pylon record, was good too. I don't own that yet, but this particular one and the one before it are like two of the best records that band's ever put out. It's almost like a completely different band actually than it was in the 80s.
It's quite incredible, actually. Like that run of records after that self-titled from 2000, they just get more like visceral, more aggressive, more angry.
Yeah, like they're literally, their mental problems are exacerbating. Yeah. And I think this was the last record that Paul Raven played on, and then he died. So
I think that's right. Yeah, I love all those records. That whole run of records. And I think I put that self-titled as my favorite. I did a Killing Joke ranking the albums episode a few years ago. I think I had that self-title as my favorite. Killing Joke fans are pretty staunch supporters of that band, so I got a lot of comments thrown my way about my choices, but fair enough, you know, that they don't really have a bad album, you know.
No,
not really. So.
Yeah, they have like less good albums, and that's like for a band of that length, that's a great thing to say.
Yeah, that's a great record.
Cool.
All right, Shawn, what you got for us, man?
Well, aside of Killing Jokes, this band has gotten me through a lot of terrible times. I really enjoy the heaviness and the sadness. It's
ISIS.
I was trying to go on with your Killing Joke.
Sorry, my bad.
Sometimes I want to kill myself, and this album makes me not.
Okay.
Well, the band. Whoa, too dark. So, ISIS is a band. They have several albums before this, but the drums are always just kind of weak.
Right.
It's more guitars and vocals. I love it, but then this album came out, and it's like they let the drummer do something.
Never a good idea.
There's a funny story about this. When it came out, someone bought me the CD at the time, and I had a brand new pair of the all black Chuck Taylors on, and I ran out to grab it, but I ripped my shoe. Like I just bought the shoe, and I ripped it, and then like fuck, I ripped my shoe, but I got this record.
Wow.
I went home and I listened to the record, and it was like, I don't know where we're going here, but this rocks. I paid too much money on Discogs for this recently, but as a drummer, this is a very good album. Like,
I don't know a ton about ISIS, and I know they have a ton of records out. Is Nate from Converge one of the people that plays in that band, or is he just like adjacent to that?
Nate and Aaron from ISIS and Nate play together in a side project called Old Man Gloom.
Yeah, I know Old Man Gloom.
They're not as good as this.
They're not as good as ISIS. No,
okay.
It's a little boring.
Yeah. ISIS
this is like I don't know, dude. It's just like drum heavy, kind of ambient guitarish, like wing, but then it gets real fucking heavy.
It's almost like
it's still beautiful.
I feel like ISIS is like a spacier Neurosis almost. Like during that period of time over the late summer when we weren't allowed to listen to Neurosis, I was listening to Celestial by ISIS every day instead.
On the inside, it looks like this too.
Yeah, it's good shit. Yeah,
it's real fucking pretty.
Yeah, spacey post metal stuff. It's cool. I've loved ISIS for a long time.
They have this is like their I think maybe they have I don't know 2 after that, but
yeah,
they can't be called ISIS anymore. Nobody likes it because fuck that shit. Listen to ISIS. They kick ass. ISIS rules.
All right.
Hard to wear a t-shirt. Yeah.
So what we're finding out is our drummer Shawn is a member of ISIS, the radical group.
Right. Finding this out in real time.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Luca, what's your next pick?
My next pick is once again the Vibe Shift.
Nice.
A band that has I've listened to nonstop for the past year, and my favorite of their records I listen to all the time. Laughing Stock by Talk Talk.
Oh wow.
The most.
I feel like you were just telling me about this record when we listened to the test pressing. You were on this record.
Yeah, I've been listening to it for like a year straight. The most interesting arc of any band to ever exist, I think. A band that it's like the opposite of how most bands operate, because usually an experimental band gets plucked out of their zone, put into a major label zone, and then they become poppy and watered down. Where this is the complete opposite. Like Talk Talk's big hit was "It's My Life" in '86. They made 3 million pounds off of that song, and then they kept putting out Stranger and Stranger records till this in 90 or 91 was Laughing Stock, which is like post-rock, free jazz, ambient noise, like just sonically like indescribable, like beautiful, strange sounds. And they released it and never played any shows to. It was a complete commercial failure because I think they released "It's My Life" and people were like, every Talk record is going to blow them up. And by the time they were breaking up, they released this, which is borderline unlistenable. And the label made no money, lost a bunch of money. The members of the band disappeared, but it's so fucking cool. It's like
it's amazing.
It's nuts. It's like the most trancy, like spacey, like vibey, strange, airy record you'll ever hear. It's like loops of pretty sounds and like there's no structure. It's just really, it's super heavy and dark and I don't know. It's impossible to describe. I mean, it was the first. Yeah, it's the first record to be described as post-rock. Right. So like the fact that like they made it and then like a genre was created after it came out is kind of says a lot about what you're working with. It's really, really, really cool. It's great. I don't know. I can't stop playing it around the house. My wife is tired of hearing me talk about the trajectory of
Mark
Talk. Yeah. Oh yeah. And this Mark Hollis So record is a whole. I almost threw that on there too. Yeah. It's great. It's super weird and cool. I'm glad that one other person here knows about it.
I love it. There's that one and there's the other one that is also similar to that, right?
Oh, Spirit of Eden. Yeah. I feel like that's less formed. This is has this very specific, powerful energy. It's nothing. There's like not a minute is wasted. Every second on this record, there's something interesting happening, which keeps me out. Cause I feel like every time I listen to it, I can pick out a new second that is my favorite part of the record. It's so intricate and deeply layered and interesting. It's a journey every time I listen to it. It's awesome. I love it.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's like.
Did that have Talk and It's My Life, those two singles off of it?
Yeah,
Talk was their first record.
Yes.
It's My Life was the second record.
And then, but the third one, Color of Spring, is kind of going off in a little bit more of an experimental direction. A little bit.
That's when they get it. Color of Spring is more like Peter Gabriel or Bowie.
Yes.
It's like art pop almost.
Yeah.
Great tunes on that one too.
Life's What You Make It. That's on that.
Yeah. Incredible song. Yeah. But like this one is where they seal the deal on this one almost. It's like they hit the plateau and then they kind of knew it. They kind of dipped and Mark Hollis didn't release music until he disappeared after this came out. This is 90, I think. He disappeared. In 98, he did the Mark Hollis solo record.
Yeah.
And then disappeared again. And then died 2 years ago. He only I feel like this was surmounted everything he knew it. He's like, I can't top this. It's really cool shit. It's spacey, beautiful. I don't know. I know I'm glad you like it.
I love
These two motherfuckers need to listen to it.
No, I'm interested in it. It's funny because you describe it as such an eccentric, weird, unorthodox record. I was watching the Sinead O'Connor documentary. I think I've told you I'm a Sinead O'Connor super fan, beyond what is reasonable. And the documentary, she's talking about her third album, Am I Not Your Girl, which was like a weird jazz sort of record. Oh, see, now this is why we're a band. But she was like, yeah, I wanted to do this, and they knew, I knew that nobody was going to like it, but if you have a #1 hit, you can put out a record of farts, and they'll put it out for you. That was her. And so when I'm thinking about that when she said that, when you're talking about this Talk record, they made this wacky, irreverent record or unorthodox record, and then it's just I don't know, the label threw their support on it because they're we don't know.
it's like that, but like it's not wacky. It's not like a Mr. Bungle record where like they give like it's like it's like a artistic, beautiful statement. It's like it's front to back like this arc of like beauty. It's crazy. It's just like nowadays you wouldn't hear that on a major label. You know, it's
right. It does. It probably didn't have mainstream appeal at the time. But
you'd have to dig something like that out like very deeply nowadays. The fact that this was like on a major label is like crazy. It's I don't know. It's front to back will blow your mind. It's great.
Yeah, everyone check out that record. It's classic.
I will.
Yeah. All right, it's the last round. My turn. I'm gonna go back to 1971 Japan. My last pick. 1971 Japan. Oh yeah.
Hey, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm in your zone for my last pick too.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay. Weird.
Okay, so I'm not going to. Okay, then I won't mention any other bands that I was going to mention leading up to this. I'll just show it. Okay, so this is the Strawberry Path, and their only record that they ever put out. And the thing about this record that's kind of amazing is that they were a duo, and I feel like for this kind of music, which is like pretty much like a Hendrix Cream kind of thing, but more not extreme, but heavier and wilder, a little bit more experimental. There were not many duos in the world doing this kind of music, like in 1971. So like one guy plays the drums and the vocals, and the other guy plays the guitar, bass, and keyboards. But man, really raw production, like crazy guitar solos all the way through it. Super, super heavy bass. The vocalist kind of sounds a bit like Jimi Hendrix. There's a couple of quieter songs on it, but for the most part, it's fiery. And, and it's not a band that's trying to be Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin. They're kind of stuck in the like late 60s, but they amp it up a couple of notches, and it's a pretty aggressive record. Yeah, and there's some really heavy, like Deep Purple kind of style organ in there.
Deep Purple?
Yeah, like the Hammond organ, really heavy Hammond organ.
The Strawberry what?
The Strawberry Path is the name of the band.
Okay.
Yeah, and the record's called When the Raven Has Come to the Earth. And it's this great artwork.
That record cover is awesome.
Right? I wonder if the Stranglers saw this and kind of did their Raven. Probably not, but like,
it rings a bell. Yeah.
But this might be a little bit more obscure than some of the other like early 70s Japanese bands, but it's fantastic. And like it's funny, like right in the middle of side 2, there's a kind of short drum solo, but it's not boring, and it's actually like it's almost like a drum break. It's funky. So I'm just wondering, like, has anybody discovered like the drum break on this record? Because it will make a great like hip hop sample.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess it has to have been done by someone at least, but it's just the craziest, funkiest, rawest, like funky drum break just right in the middle of side 2 of this record, which is kind of weird in 1971. I guess I don't know.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I feel like 71 was almost like how weird can you get, and we'll like and it'll be like explored.
But this is like this. I mean, it's basically like a heavy blues rock record. That's what it is. But don't let that put you off. It's kind of an exciting record with lots of stuff going on.
I also feel like you're telling me like maybe you should check this out and try one of these drum fills.
Yes, I'm very inclusive.
Maybe you should broaden your drum fill.
I like the part where he said, there was a drum solo, but it wasn't boring.
Well, I'm going to
I've heard your album, but this drum solo was great.
I mean, on a studio record, you don't usually expect to get a drum solo on like a studio album. And it's
no.
But it's not like Moby Dick. It's not like Zeppelin Moby Dick. Where it's a little bit
God.
It's kind of short, tasteful. Tastefully.
Is that a reissue?
We've gone off the rails.
Is that a reissue?
It is a reissue. I was going to say, this is the first time it's been officially reissued on vinyl since 1977.
All right.
And this came out last year. It came out just last year on HMV and Universal, so it should be still around, I guess.
Wow, HMV Universal.
Yeah. But it's the only official reissue since 1977. Like so.
Nice.
Sounds amazing.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Sounds up my alley for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody buy 3 of them. I'll pay you back.
Yes, next band practice payback.
This beer. Shawn, take a moment to plug the beer you're drinking. You're drinking Michelob Ultra.
Oh, wait. Oh, I've moved on. This is the real beer of Ready for Death. Luca has called it Gulf Water.
Gulf Water.
Michelob Ultra.
It's like a beer you can drink while you're playing golf.
Steel can. Keeps it nice and cold.
Low calorie.
You can drink. You can drink 15 of them and get kind of drunk.
Yeah. You've had more than 15.
Started out drinking Pipeworks, which are about 9.5%.
Oh no! I drink Pipeworks beer is big and fancy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
have drank all the members of Ready for Death have been with Shawn and drank until the point where he has fallen down.
Nice.
Able to get up. So Shawn knows a lot about beer.
Do you think I might join that exclusive club this evening?
You might. It's not really the evening for you though, so it could present several problems as you go about your day.
All right.
I'll hang out on this chat all night. I'm at the time of my life.
Yeah, like once the show's over, we can just hang out and party.
We're having a good time. That's for certain. we are. All right.
Okay.
Artie, what's your last pick? This
is my last pick. This was and I had a choice. There were other records that I've been listening to, but it was a hard, as you put it, Michael, a Herculean task.
It is a Herculean task. Yeah,
it is. But I went with this record, and the backstory is, let me take you back to yesterday when I'm going through my 7 inches. I'm in the process of I have way too many 7 inches. I've been buying records for over 3 decades, and the 7 inch is like a plague. I don't know why I keep buying them. I still buy them now, but then I don't listen to them often because they're a real pain in the ass.
Too short.
Other things going on.
Yeah.
But I've bought so many over the years that I'm purging them right now. So I'm going through one by one, going keep, sell, give away, whatever. And I came upon this record. It's a vibe shift, as Luca would say.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The record is Fury of 1,000 Zeuses.
Habañero?
Wow.
Yeah. The title is
Enema?
Habañero Enema. This is Jesus getting the enema, and this is Zeus over here who's giving it. So I just needed to take a moment and explain the cover. I came across this, and maybe you guys have had this happen where you're like, why do I have this? When did I get it? And why did I buy it? What was going on that I put it? And then I put it in alphabetical order with the rest of my 7 inches and forgot about it. So flipping through, and I pull this out, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I put it on so I can decide what I want to do with it. And it's great. It's really good. It has no right to be this good. The band is from Madison, Wisconsin. So the Midwest, not far from us. And they didn't even have labels printed, so all the labels are handwritten.
Nice.
It sounds like there's a little bit of melody, but it's mostly like Midwest hardcore. My favorite song on here is called Won't Listen to the Ad Man. And it sounds like it could be on the middle class 7 inch. It sounds like it could be with a little more distortion. It could be like a DRI song. It's really just fast, punchy, catchy, hardcore, a minute long, if that. And the whole record is punk like that with a little bit of melody. The song, the title track, Habañero Enema, is it's ridiculous, obviously. And
what year is this from, by the way?
Oh,
it's got to be 2003 or something.
2004.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
I'm trying to place the pepper culture. What year was Habanero the hottest?
It's
gotta be way before.
Yeah.
Before Ghost Pepper, it's got to be pretty early on in pepper culture.
Yes.
When Reaper, Kælan, the Reaper came out.
Yeah, Kælan and Reaper is even on the radar.
Pepper, we call it proto pepper record.
Yes.
But all the rest of the lyrics are weirdly dark and serious. Like, I've got to stop drinking. My life is very bleak. Yeah, I know. Like humanity is on this collision course with the end of the world. Like, it's like really bleak songs, but that they chose this silly Habañero Enema song, and they chose this for the record cover. And I feel like if it didn't have this, they would have been really huge in that crowd. They were like from a town where not much else was probably going on at the time. You know, they're from college town in Wisconsin. And I guess the bass player, weirdly, as I did the same thing I told you about earlier, where I went on Discogs and looked at the members, and the bass player was she died. All I could find was she died unexpectedly in a couple of years after this came out, and like just nobody was in any of the other bands that I would recognize, and maybe people in Wisconsin would know who they are, but I feel like this should have been like a band that people look back on and been like, oh, Fury of 1,000 Zeuses, I wish they would play again, but I feel like this came and went. It's a really random, under the radar record. It goes on Discogs for like $1, and it's actually like, if you're a fan of like early DC hardcore, Midwestern hardcore, like the kind of like short, sharp, like fight songs with a tiny bit of melody, just enough to make it memorable. Oh, and there's a Dead Milkman cover on here.
Wow, crazy.
Cover Violent School, and I was just like, this is ridiculously good. I don't know why I ever got it. I don't know what I saw. I would never pick up a record like this now, but at some point I bought it and I said, cool, or somebody gave it to me or something. And
so you have no idea why you have it.
I don't know why it's in my collection at all. No, but it's great. And like, I listened to it. I put it on. Listening to it? Like, should I sell this or throw it away or give it to someone or send it with something else that somebody buys? And I was like, oh my God, I'm keeping this. This is a fucking total keeper. Yeah. Fury of 1,000 Zeuses, Habañero Enema, Proto Pepper, or from 2004.
Classic.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be some like sockeye kind of a thing when he showed the cover.
Yeah, that's why I bought it, because I thought it would be like totally backwards, like Wheelchair Motherfuckers or what's the other band? Just like a.
That's not funny.
A deliberately dumb band, but it seems like they just made a few bad choices, but they had a lot to offer musically, and it just will be forgotten forever.
Wow.
Not to derail this discussion about this shit, but earlier I talked about an old band of mine that played with the Vicious at Ronnie's, which is now the Fancy Taco Place.
Yeah.
My old band played, that same band played in this basement of an art gallery in Pilsen, opening for Joe Jack Talcum of the Dead Milkmen playing acoustic.
That's awesome.
Bring it somewhat, not really full circle, but
tie the whole thing together.
Yeah, a little bit connected. Yeah.
I'll be right back. I gotta pee.
All right.
Oh, piss boy.
Okay, Shawn, what's your last pick of the name?
I have to pee too. Well, fuck it. I'll go.
All right.
I'm a drummer, and one of my favorites is Away from Voi Vod. I love this. It's not the best of theirs, but it fucking rules.
It's a great record, yeah.
And I don't know. Like, do I have to explain it to you?
Not to me.
It's Voi Vod.
Yeah.
It's fucking Voi Vod, and it kicks in. This is like what I've been listening to this week.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were doing with all these albums.
That's exactly what we're doing.
This is still like every day I listen to this. I love this album.
I think that's the best of their like recent 3 or 4 albums. I think so.
So I read an article. He did the opening guitar to the first riff on here was the last one of the last album. So like, and he goes, and I don't know. They're just fucking brilliant. They're a brilliant band. Everything they do is fucking incredible.
It's actually amazing. They managed to get a replacement for Piggy and everything, and they're still putting out great records.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great record.
Yeah.
So what is it? Voi Vod?
Voi Vod, Synchro Anarchy. It's like the newest album from last year. Last year, right? Came out.
I haven't heard that one yet. I have to.
It's for me. Just for me, it's the best of their last 3 or 4. It's great.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it sounds like Weird Al, but like badass Weird Al.
Okay.
About how fucked the whole world is. It's fantastic.
Great record. That was in my top 10 or 20 from last year.
Yeah. This thing is good.
It's a good record. All right.
That's
There's a picture of him on the back. They're old guys playing metal.
They are old. Wow.
Yeah.
We're old guys playing metal. They were doing it 20 years before us.
Exactly. It makes me feel better that we're not the oldest guys playing metal.
I did my thing on drummers though. So Away is one of my favorite fucking drummers, and that's just
cool.
It's just a good album.
He's
such a good drummer. It's never gonna like Nothing Face is woo, but man, he did it.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Oh yeah.
All right, Luca, this is the last pick of the day. Let's go out on a bang.
So to link up with yours,
really?
Some Japanese psych, Les Rallizes Dénudés.
There you go. All right.
The Oz tapes. So I'm sure you know, a band that has only existed in recordings on bootlegs.
Yeah.
They just recently have unearthed these from the early 70s. A really cool, weird psych band. Like it's kind of sounds like almost like if the Velvet Underground had a baby with the Grateful Dead. Like just weird, jangly, drugged out, like pop with like crazy fucking like not gonna happen. With crazy like jam parts, super spaced out. It's great. I work at a record label, so everyone's like always like playing cool shit. I walk by my one buddy's office. I'm like, "What do you listen to?" And he showed me this record. He's like, "They just pressed this."
Nice.
Like it's like, I think it's the first time it's ever been pressed since like 71 or something. And it's crazy. It's like really like weird, jangly jam stuff. I don't know. It's not for everyone, but
they're kind of a one of a kind band. But like they don't have any like studio albums though, right? All their records are like live recordings and stuff.
All their releases are bootleg.
Yes.
They have no studio work, and any shit that was released is a live recording they've never like okayed. It's all bootleg, and like this is like most of their shit is like super lo-fi, like tape record in the crowd sort of thing from like the 60s, and like this is like the first like well recorded one, so it almost sounds like a different band.
I've heard that if you don't have any of their records, that's kind of the one to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. It's like mind-numbing, like just like a band at the top of their game, just like shredding. It's cool. It's really good stuff.
I'm sort of digging deep into the memory banks here, but I know that like at least one or two members of that band were in like the Japanese Red Army, and they got arrested for like trying to hijack the plane and all that kind of stuff. Maybe Luca, you know the story a bit better than me.
It's true. That they were like part of this communist radical group, and like they were on the right side. Yeah, I think the singer or the bass player, they were like got caught up in all that shit, got arrested, locked up for years. It's like a crazy story. Yeah. And I made the mistake of mentioning Grateful Dead because immediately Artie's out. Shawn
it doesn't sound like the Grateful Dead. I don't think so, no.
It doesn't sound like the Grateful Dead, but like it predates the Dead and kind of set the standard to allow the Dead to like hit the stage and jam for like 30 minutes for a song. And it's Dénudés are like way more punk, I guess. It's not vibey. It's like grimy and like garagey and punk. It's great. It's really cool shit. It's cool. Not for everyone, especially if it's a short attention span. Like every song on this record is like 20 minutes long. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Whatever. Okay.
No, people love that band, and like
Yeah.
There are maniacs out there who collect like there's tons of like bootleg CDs as well that you see in Japan that maybe you can't find outside of Japan. I don't know, but that's a great last pick.
It's super cool. It's a really cool. It's a double LP. All sorts of cool shit on there. So yeah, if you have the patience to listen to some guitar soloing, it's a good route to go. Oh my god, yeah. Or you can listen to like butt funnel, like fucking butt chug, habanero instead.
It's up to you.
We should also give a shout out to Swine Man.
Oh, what were you talking about, dude? Butt funnel from Habañeros from Madison, so they probably know Swine Man.
Yeah.
So,
if Dallas were here, he would tell you the story where he bought a guitar head and weirdly burned or melted into the front of the head is the word Swine Man. Turns out it's a band from the northern Midwest that existed briefly, like in a flicker, and they had like one cassette release or something like that. And there's a video on YouTube. If you search Swine Man, it's like a guy. I can't even explain the video. It's like a very plasmatic video. And it turns out this was the amp that Dallas bought, and and it's like, I don't play any instruments. I have no musical ability whatsoever. It hasn't stopped me from being in a bunch of bands, but I don't know what I'm doing with an instrument. But Dallas seems to think, oh, this amp of this era is, it sounds like this, and he's got he's a guitar guy. So, but the fact that this amp is probably on the stage in this YouTube video where everything's getting set on fire and horrible things are happening, and it's kind of funny. So that's the Swine Man backstory.
We'll get Dallas on the show another time.
Yeah. He's a good guy to have because he likes talking.
Oh
yeah. He will talk. If you do an episode with him, it should be maybe one record.
Okay, everyone else 5. Dallas 1. Yeah. Okay, everyone. I think it's time to wrap this up. We're going to continue chatting after I press the stop button. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to keep drinking and everything. But thanks for tuning in. We had a great time, right? We had a great time. We're still having
I had a really good time.
We're going to continue having a great time. Viewers at home, can you have your own great time? We're going to have continue this after.
Isn't everyone at home? Who's watching this outside?
Oh, you never know. You never know. Someone could have set up a big screen in the park, and watching us on the.
People watch it later. Yeah.
All right.
Show this at elementary schools.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay healthy and
goodbye.